Jai Gurudev, today we have with us an esteemed art of living expert and an officer from Vedic Dharma Sansthan to discuss how the teachings of the Great Gatsby can be applied to modern day relationships, careers, and personal success. Moreover, how the wisdom of His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji and the tools of art of living can help resolve these challenges. Let's begin. Jai Gurudev, yes, the illusion of the American dream. Gatsby believes that wealth and success will bring him happiness. How does this illusion play out in today's world? Jagadev, in modern life, many chase material success believing it will bring happiness. Sudarshan Kriya helps clear the mind, ensuring one does not fall into illusionary traps. Wealth does not guarantee happiness. We see many wealthy individuals still feeling empty. Why is that? Yes, Vedic wisdom teaches contentment or santosha, regular pranayama and mantra chanting prevent attachment to external validation. Also, the past cannot be recreated. Gatsby's obsession with Daisy and the past leads to his downfall. How can one let go of the past? Acceptance is key. Practices like Padma Sadhana help one live in the present instead of dwelling on the past. Also, appearances can be deceiving. The glamour of Gatsby's parties hid his loneliness. How do we avoid being deceived by appearances? Just like Gatsby, many today wear masks. Satsang removes artificiality, allowing people to be their authentic selves. Love and obsession are different. Gatsby's love for Daisy turns into obsession. How can one distinguish between lust and love and attachment? True love is giving without expectation. Meditation fosters unconditional love over obsession. Old money versus new money. Gatsby struggles to be accepted by old money elites. How does this relate to modern career growth? In career growth, respect is earned through wisdom, not just wealth. The wisdom of Ayurveda teaches balance in material pursuits. Materialism corrupts morality. Tom and Daisy are careless with their wealth. How can we avoid moral corruption? Seva or selfless service redirect one's focus from materialism to meaningful contribution. The shallowness of a high society. Gatsby's grand parties attracted people with who barely knew him. How can one find deeper connections? Many social circles lack a depth. Upanayana or sacred thread ceremony revives deep, meaningful connections. Hope can be blinding. Gatsby hopes endlessly for Daisy's love. What does hope become, and when does hope become harmful? Faith should be balanced with practicality. Agni Karam or fire rituals help in gaining clarity. Also, money cannot buy class. Gatsby's wealth does not earn him the respect he seeks. How can one cultivate true dignity? Character is developed through Sanyam sadhana, not wealth. Jealousy can be destructive. Tom's jealousy leads to chaos. How can one manage jealousy? Shakti Kriya removes emotional toxicity and fostering inner security. Unchecked ambition can lead to downfall. Gatsby's relentless pursuit of status ends tragically. How can ambition be balanced? Gayatri Japa sadhana instills clarity and ethical ambition. Superficiality leads to loneliness. Despite Gatsby's parties, he is deeply lonely. Why is that? True connections are formed through satsang and meaningful service, not wealth. Betrayal is inevitable in toxic relationships. Gatsby trusted the wrong people. How can one discern trustworthy relationships? Meditation strengthens intuition, helping us recognize authentic relationships. Unfulfilled dreams lead to suffering. Gatsby dies chasing an unfulfilled dream. How can we find peace? The recalls and their helps align personal desires with the higher wisdom. Guilt has consequences. Daisy and Tom do not take responsibility for their actions. How can one deal with their guilt healthily? Accept knowledge and act. Ayurveda and mantra chanting cleanse negative emotions. And self worth should not be dependent on others. Gatsby bases his self worth on Daisy's love. How can one cultivate self esteem? Daily pranayama and self inquiry foster self confidence independent of others' validations. Society's double standards. Tom's infidelity is tolerated, but Daisy's independence is questioned. How do we address gender biases today? Vedic wisdom upholds equality. Women's empowerment through spiritual practices is essential. Authenticity matters more than status. Gatsby's constructed identity led to his downfall. How can one embrace authenticity? Yoga and sadhana help one discover and accept their true self. Power without wisdom is dangerous. Tom misuses his influence. How can leadership be exercised wisely? Dharma based leadership, as taught in the Bhagavad Gita, aligns ambition with service. That was an enlightening discussion. Thank you both for sharing how the Great Gatsby's lessons can be applied in today's world to the transformative power of Art of Living's teachings. Jai Gurudev, may wisdom guide all to a life of balance, purpose, and fulfillment. Jai Gurudev, the danger of idealizing someone. Gatsby idealizes Daisy to an extreme. How can we avoid putting people on pedestals? Through meditation and Sudarshan Kriya, we learn to see people as they are without exaggerating their traits or expectations. This promotes healthy relationships. The impact of unresolved trauma. Gatsby's past with Daisy and his desire to be someone he wasn't haunts him. How can we heal from past trauma? Ayurveda suggests a healing through natural therapies and mindfulness. Practices like Gayatri Japa help release past emotional baggage. The importance of self awareness. Gatsby never truly knows himself, always chasing after something external. How can we cultivate self awareness? Regular self reflection and yoga practices allow us to align with our higher self, uncovering our true desires and purpose. The dangers of escapism. Gatsby uses wealth and parties as a way to escape his true feelings. How does Art of Living address this? Satsang and Seva are practices that ground us in the present moment, reducing the need for escapism and fostering inner peace. The transient nature of time. The Gatsby tries to stop time, but we cannot go back. How can we embrace the passage of time through Trikal Sandhya? We embrace the past, present, and future. Living in the now allows us to make peace with time. The search for validation. Gatsby's quest for approval from society and Daisy leads to his downfall. How can we avoid seeking external validation? Mantra chanting and yoga practices enhance our connection with our inner wisdom, reducing the need for external approval. Love is not ownership. Gatsby treats Daisy like an object to be owned. How can we shift our perspective on love? True love is liberating through the practice of sadhana. We learn to love without attachment and possessiveness. The cost of blind loyalty. Gatsby's loyalty to Daisy blinds him to the reality of her actions. How can we maintain discernment in relationships? Discernment comes from inner clarity. Meditation and pranayama help develop this clarity, allowing us to act wisely in relationships. The importance of self love. Gatsby's life is built on the hope of winning Daisy's love, neglecting his own needs. How can one cultivate self love? Practices like Shakti Kriya and Yoga help connect us with our inner strength, teaching us to love ourselves first. The destructive nature of secrecies. Gatsby's life is a web of secrets. How can we ensure transparency in our relationships and professional life? Dharma teaches honesty and integrity. Practices like Agni Karma, fire rituals purify our intentions, fostering truthfulness. The significance of personal integrity. The Gatsby's actions, despite his wealth, lack integrity. How can one uphold integrity in all aspects of life? Through consistent practice of sadhana and Ayurveda, we build a moral fortitude leading to a life of integrity. The illusion of control. Gatsby believes he can control his destiny, but life is unpredictable. How do we deal with uncertainty? Life's uncertainty is embraced through surrender. The practices of yoga and satsang teach us to accept what we cannot control. The power of forgiveness. Gatsby never forgives those who wronged him. How can we practice forgiveness in our lives? Forgiveness is liberating. Through Sudarshan Kriya and prayer, we can release grudges and move forward with peace in our hearts. The need for patience. Gatsby's impatience leads to his tragedy. How can we cultivate patience in our fast paced world? Yoga and pranayama instill patience by calming the mind and helping us live with acceptance of the present moment. Understanding one's true desires. Gatsby's desires were based on illusion rather than reality. How can we understand our true desires? Meditation helps us align with our soul's purpose, distinguishing fleeting desires from lasting passions, letting go of material attachment. Gatsby's attachment to wealth and materialism doesn't bring him happiness. How can we reduce attachment to material things? Ayurveda teaches the importance of detachment. Practices like Shakti Kriya and mantra chanting bring balance and help detach from material cravings, cultivating inner peace. Despite his wealth, Gatsby lacks peace. How can one cultivate peace in a chaotic world? Through consistent practice of Sudarshan Kriya and Pranayama, we can access a deep sense of inner peace. The role of trust in relationships. Gatsby's relationships suffer due to a lack of trust. How can we build a trust in relationships? Trust is cultivated through honesty, respect, and understanding. Practices like sadhana and Agni Karnam will help us align with these values. overcoming loneliness. Despite his fame, Gatsby is profoundly lonely. How can we overcome loneliness? Satsang and Seva provide a sense of belonging and community, fostering connection with like minded souls. The illusion of success. Gatsby's success is built on falsehoods. How can we redefine success? True success is rooted in living with integrity and purpose. Practices like yoga and Ayurveda support a balanced, authentic approach to success. The loneliness of a superficial success. Gatsby's success leaves him isolated. How do we balance achievement with a genuine connection? Engaging in satsang and seva builds authentic bonds that nurture the soul beyond material triumphs. The burden of unspoken truths, Gatsby's hidden past haunts him. How can embracing transparency ease our burdens? Regular self reflection and open dialogue, supported by practices like yoga and mantra chanting, help heal hidden wounds. The complexity of identity. Gatsby reinvents himself yet struggles with his true identity. How can we find our authentic selves? Meditation and sadhana allow us to peel away layers of conditioning, revealing our core essence. The price of denial. Gatsby's denial of reality leads to tragedy. How do we face uncomfortable truths? Ayurveda and mindful practices encourage acceptance of all aspects of life, fostering growth from our truths. The power of rituals. Rituals like Gatsby's repeated reinventions shape our lives. How can spiritual rituals guide us? Rituals such as Trikal Sandhya and Agni Karyam create a sacred structure, anchoring us in purpose and discipline. The value of inner strength. Gatsby's external bravado masks inner fragility. How can we develop true inner strength through practices like Shakti Kriya and Sanyam Sadhana? We cultivate resilience and fortitude from within. The importance of self reflection. Gatsby rarely questions his choices. How vital is self reflection in modern life? Regular introspection through meditation and journaling enhances self awareness, leading to wiser decisions. The impact of societal pressures. Gatsby feels compelled by society's expectations. How can one navigate external pressures? Satsang and Ayurveda offer tools to balance societal expectations with one's inner truth, reducing undue stress. The peril of excessive desires. Gatsby's unchecked desire for a lost love drives his actions. How do we moderate our cravings? Practices like Sudarshan Kriya help regulate emotional energies, transforming desire into creative drive. The inevitability of change. Resists the inevitable passage of time. How can we embrace change? Yoga teaches us to flow with life's changes, accepting impermanence as a natural rhythm. The illusion of permanence. Gatsby clings to fleeting moments of happiness. How do we appreciate life's transient beauty? By engaging in daily meditation and mindfulness, we learn to cherish each moment without clinging. The significance of forgiveness. Gatsby never forgives the betrayals in his life. How essential is forgiveness? Forgiveness is a spiritual release. Practices like mantra chanting and prayer help cleanse lingering resentments. The struggle for inner balance. Gatsby's life is a tumult of extremes. How can we achieve balance amid the modern chaos? The harmonious blend of Ayurveda, yoga, and pranayama restores equilibrium in both mind and body. The pitfalls of over ambition. Gatsby's ambition blinds him to life's nuances. How can ambition be tempered with wisdom? Gayatri Japa sadhana aligns our aspirations with ethical values, ensuring ambition serves a higher purpose. The danger of dependency. Gatsby's self worth is tied to another's love. How do we cultivate independence? Self inquiry and practices like Padma Sadhana nurture inner strength, making our happiness self sustained. The virtue of humility. Gatsby's grand persona overshadows his vulnerabilities. Why is humility important? Humility opens the heart to learning and connection. Humility is cultivated through daily reflection and service. The conflict between dreams and reality. Gatsby's dreams clash with harsh realities. How do we reconcile our aspirations with life's truths? Sadhana provides clarity by aligning dreams with realistic goals, harmonizing vision and action. The impact of societal neglect. Gatsby is largely ignored until tragedy strikes. How does neglect affect us and what can we do? Satsang and community involvement remind us that nurturing relationships requires a mutual care and active participation. The influence of cultural heritage. Gatsby's transformation overlooks his roots. How can we honor our heritage while growing? Upanayana and other cultural rituals honor our traditions, integrating them with the modern growth. The challenge of self deception. Gatsby deceives himself about his past and future. How do we avoid self deception? Constant self reflection through meditation and Ayurveda encourages honesty with oneself. the burden of unrealistic expectations. Gatsby's expectations of life and love are unrealistic. How can we manage expectations? By practicing mindfulness and setting grounded goals through yoga, we align our desires with reality. The allure of escapism, escapes his pain through lavish parties. What are healthy alternatives to escapism? Engaging in seva and deep meditation offers constructive ways to process and move beyond pain. The conflict between ambition and love. Gatsby's ambition often overshadows genuine affection. How can one balance ambition with nurturing relationships? Integrating practices like Sanyam Sadhana fosters both personal success and deep empathetic connections. The danger of neglecting inner development. Gatsby focuses solely on external success. How important is inner growth? Inner development through yoga, meditation, and Ayurveda is the foundation for lasting fulfillment. The complexity of social hierarchies. Gatsby struggles with social class reflects deep societal issues. How can we bridge these gaps? Education through Vedic wisdom and inclusive practices in community service promote social equality. The perils of living a double life. Gatsby's dual identity causes inner turmoil. How can one live life with authenticity? Consistent self inquiry and sadhana help dissolve inner conflicts, leading to a life of integrity. The value of continuous learning. Gatsby's past mistakes underline his ignorance in some areas. How can continuous learning help us? Embracing satsang and study of scriptures encourages lifelong learning and self improvement. The challenge of controlling reality. Gatsby avoids harsh realities by clinging to dreams. How do we face reality courageously? Techniques like Sudarshan Kriya empower us to confront life's challenges with the clarity and calm. The transformative power of art and culture. Gatsby's world is filled with the opulent artifice. How do art and culture contribute to their inner transformation? Engagement in cultural rituals, music, and mantra chanting enriches our inner lives, fostering transformation. The necessity of self discipline. Gatsby's lack of discipline contributes to his downfall. How important is discipline in our lives? Daily practice of yoga and pranayama instills discipline, helping us maintain a steady course in life. The risk of overindulgence, excess in every form leads to deterioration. In Gatsby's world, how do we practice moderation? Ayurveda emphasizes balance in diet and lifestyle, while meditation cultivates mental restraint. The challenge of living in the moment. Gatsby is fixated on the future he envisions. How can we fully live in the present? Mindfulness practices and meditation anchors in the now, making each moment precious. The necessity of self care in the pursuit of dreams. Self care is often neglected. How can we integrate self care into our routines? Regular engagement in yoga, pranayama, and Ayurveda routines rejuvenates both body and mind. The perils of envy. Envy fuels much of the conflict in Gatsby's narrative. How can we overcome envy? Cultivating gratitude through mantra chanting and seva transforms envy into appreciation for our own journey. The importance of community support. Gatsby's isolation is a stark reminder of lacking community. How can community support aid us? Participating in satsang and community service builds a supportive network that nurtures growth. The impact of moral compromise. Gatsby compromises his values for success. How do we stand firm in our morals? Dharma based living, as taught by Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji, along with daily self discipline, keeps us aligned with our principles. The challenge of balancing passion and reason. Gatsby's passion often overpowers his reason. How can we harmonize these forces? Meditation and Gayatri Japa Sadhana balance heart and mind, guiding decisions with both passion and logic. The importance of self forgiveness. Gatsby never forgives himself for past mistakes. How can self forgiveness propel personal growth? Through reflective practices and compassionate self talk, often supported by mantra chanting, we learn to forgive ourselves and move forward. The dangers of external validation. Gatsby's identity is defined by others' perceptions. How do we build an inner sense of worth? Practices like Shakti Kriya and personal meditation sessions reinforce our intrinsic value, independent of external opinions. The role of resilience in overcoming setbacks. Gatsby faces repeated setbacks yet continues his pursuit. How do we cultivate resilience? Through a disciplined routine of yoga, Ayurveda, and continuous learning, we build the resilience needed to overcome life's obstacles. The influence of societal expectations on behavior. Gatsby's life is molded by societal norms. How can we liberate ourselves from restrictive expectations? Self inquiry and mindfulness help us identify and shed limiting societal beliefs, allowing us a freer, more authentic experience. The impact of guilt and remorse characters in Gatsby's world are weighed down by guilt. How can we process guilt constructively? Practices like Sudarshan Kriya and reflective meditation help release guilt, transforming remorse into learning experiences. The pursuit of perfection is an illusion. Gatsby's desire for an idealized life sets him up for disappointment. How do we accept imperfection? Embracing imperfection through yoga and mindful self compassion teaches us that growth often comes from our flaws. The risk of self isolation and success. Gatsby's achievements do not shield him from isolation. How can success be balanced with social connection? Engaging in community practices like satsang and seva ensures that our success is shared and celebrated within a supportive network. The importance of adaptability. Gatsby's rigidity in his vision leads to his downfall. How do we stay flexible in our pursuits? Regular meditation and the adaptive practices of Ayurveda teach us to adjust our course in tune with life's ever changing dynamics. The role of vulnerability in personal growth. Gatsby's inability to show vulnerability contributes to his tragic end. How can vulnerability be a strength? Through mindful practices and genuine human connection and satsang, vulnerability becomes a pathway to deeper intimacy and growth. The power of a positive mindset. Negativity thinking clouds many characters' lives in Gatsby. How can a positive mindset be nurtured? Daily mantra chanting and gratitude practices realign our focus on positivity even amid challenges. The interplay between fate and free will. Gatsby seems destined for tragedy despite his efforts. How do we balance fate and free will? The wisdom of the Gita combined with disciplined yoga practice helps us navigate destiny while exercising our free will. The importance of legacy. Gatsby's legacy is marred by his personal choices. How can we build a legacy of positive impact? Engaging in seva and community upliftment ensures that our legacy is defined by contributions to the greater good. The danger of over identification with rules. Gatsby is trapped by the identity he creates. How do we avoid being limited by our rules? Through self inquiry and regular meditation, we learn that our true self transcends any external label. The influence of societal narratives on personal identity. Gatsby's identity is shaped by societal myths. How can we craft our own authentic narrative? Sadhana and reflective practices empower us to question societal narratives, allowing us to define our own truth. The challenges of maintaining authenticity under pressure. Gatsby succumbs to pressures that force him into inauthenticity. How do we remain true to ourselves under stress? Consistent practice of pranayama and meditation reinforces our core values even when external pressures mount. The role of emotional intelligence in relationships. Emotional mismanagement is a recurring theme in Gatsby's interactions. How can we cultivate emotional intelligence? Techniques like mindfulness, meditation, and reflective journaling enhance our ability to understand and manage emotions effectively. The importance of clear communication. Miscommunication leads to many conflicts in Gatsby's life. How do we foster clear, honest dialogue? Practices in satsang and open heart meditation encourages clarity and compassionate communication. The influence of past experiences on current behavior. Gatsby's history shapes his present actions. How can we learn from our past without being controlled by it? Ayurveda and reflective meditation help us process past experiences, transforming them into wisdom rather than burdens. The challenge of balancing personal and professional lives. Gatsby's personal dreams conflict with his public persona. How do we harmonize personal fulfillment with professional ambition? A balanced routine incorporating yoga, pranayama, and Ayurveda principles ensures that both personal well being and career aspirations are nurtured. The danger of neglecting spiritual growth. In pursuit of wealth, Gatsby neglects spiritual nourishment. How vital is spiritual growth in modern life? Spiritual practices like Gayatri Japa and Shakti Kriya offer nourishment that no material success can provide, guiding us toward a true fulfillment. The impact of societal values on personal ethics. The moral decay in Gatsby's society reflects broader societal values. How can one develop an ethical framework in today's world? Integrating Vedic wisdom with the daily practices of dharma and self discipline lays the foundation for strong personal ethics. The importance of mindful leadership. Characters like Tom Whale power irresponsibly. How do we cultivate mindful leadership within our careers? Leadership rooted in mindfulness, developed through consistent sadhana and meditation, ensures decisions are guided by wisdom and compassion, the ultimate pursuit of inner fulfillment. Gatsby's journey, with all its trials, ultimately points to a search for inner fulfillment. What is the key to lasting success? True success comes from inner harmony, a balance achieved through the combined practices of Sudarshan Kriya, Ayurveda, and the timeless wisdom of His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji, Jai Gurudev. May every seeker find balance, purpose, and true joy. Thank you both for your profound discussions. Your insights beautifully bridge the lessons of the Great Gatsby and modern spiritual practices, offering practical wisdom for relationships, careers, and personal fulfillment. Jai Gurudev.